Okay, so like mainly we are, I'm a part of DeepPixel. A DeepPixel is mainly a Python package for making, which helps in making computer vision and deep learning simpler. So since we started with this package, we mainly had the vision that we could make computer vision and deep learning a bit easier for all, because since their computer vision is really a trendy word today, like it's really huge and we don't know what exactly it pertains to, right? So uh, like we what we felt that there are so many divisions under the deep pixel under computer vision. So we mainly had the motto to make all the things simple and complete and load everything into one single package in which is called deep pixel. So as you can see, there are three mentees here. Like Shaunava Dash, I am the mentee. Rakshit Naidu, he is not with us here today, and Ayushi Mon, I think she isn't with us here as well. So our mentors are Smaranjit Ghosh and Anuj Bhatia. Uh, yeah. So mainly starting with the pull requests, like I had generated a pull request where we decided that we'll make something for the image quality score assessment using a technique called BRISC. So what BRISC does is like we upload a image through the command, our command terminal line, our terminal, and hence in like as we enter the image and we ask for the image score, it gives us a proper image score which is calculated using a technique called BRISC. It has several algos within it, like like after going through each and every function, it generates a particular image and eventually calculates the final score after that. Okay. we're also working we are also working with another thing in the same project known as using the cams and all. So the cam is Rakshit Naidu is mainly in charge of work. Rakshit Naidu as well as our mentor Smaranjit Ghosh is in charge of working with the cams. Like I think Smaranjit Ghosh, he'll be better explaining the cams rather than me. Like he'll be able to explain it much better. I don't have much idea about cams, so it's a really interesting topic
So,
that we can, yeah.
so basically what cams are is, if I say in a very layman term, normally for images we use convolutional neural networks, right? Nowadays there are other architectures available as well, like capsnet, and even some grus are found to be good, like we have it in Dieter, where is a transformer like architecture. But the problem is when you're working with images, especially medical images, we really don't know like what the our architecture, what our model is looking at and distinguishing a cat from a dog, or suppose a thousand classes, thousand categories. Like when we look at someone, we see their facial features, their hair color, skin color, and distinguish them. But how is the convolutional neural network looking at that? So CAMS is a handy concept that come in here. So basically the flow of gradients is taken into account and we form heat maps, and the most dense heat map shows us based upon which region of the pixels in the image, we can see that the convolutional neural network is classifying one image from another. So there are a lot of implementations of CAMs lately, which are improvement of one over other. I have implemented GradCam already. Even GradCam plus plus I have implemented. Smooth GradCam and ScoreCam are the state of the art, and one of our members, Rakshit, is working on SSCam, which is itself a state of the art research improving ScoreCam with SmoothCam. So the difference between GradCam and ScoreCam is, in GradCam we specifically look at the gradients flowing through the convolutes, but for ScoreCam, instead of looking at the gradients, we set up a relative score and mask out different regions and see for which one of the regions the score the CNN gives is maximum. So in a nutshell, you can say these are used to draw some inference or at least verify your model beyond the performance metrics as we know, like test and validation accuracy, sensitivity, specificity. Yeah. So number, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. That was a great explanation. And so here we come to our next slide where we mainly spoke of our future contributions. Like right now, after having after having my pull request merged with the main branch about the image quality, I am currently working on another thing called the Canny edge detection and holistically edge detections as well. Basically, Canny edge detection, what it does is it simply figures out the edges it figures the edges of the image, like where basically depending on the pixel contrasts and all, it detects the edges, the exceptionally the edge part of any image. And holistically edge detection is another, basically in simple terms, it's another improvement on the canny edge detection part. So after that, after this I finish with this, I'll be really starting, I'm really interested in starting with another application of AI in this project called the generating the low poly versions of any image. Like as you can see on the screen, this is the original image here, and using basic simple image processing techniques, we generate a low poly version of any given image in this way. So it's really something it's really something cool, and I have been thinking of implementing this since a very long time. So yeah, like in Deep Pixel, we're not only being limited to AI and machine learning within computer vision, we are also generating several low poly versions of any image within this package as well. Yeah. So here is one of the outcomes of one of the image quality assessment which I have done. So what we do here is basically on the screen we see three different images. The first one is a proper HD 1920 into 1080 as a resolution image. The second one is the same image, rather a little blurred one, and the third one is a very noisy image. Like in this screen, you will find that this is a perfect image, but like since we are fitting 1920 into 1080 resolution image in such a small space, it looks good, but eventually when you zoom in, you will see that the image is really noisy. So when we pass these images in our terminal, we get these results. Like for the first image, okay, let me mention that blur detection results say that how much the image is blurry. Like on a scale of 1 to 100, like if the image has a very low score, it means it's really a blurred image. And if it has a blurred score above 50 or above 60, or like it has eventually anything above 20, it's considered to be a non-blurred image, it's considered to be a good image. And on the other hand, image quality score is exactly the opposite. Like the more your score, the worse your image is. Like generally we rate this on a scale of 0 to 100, but if your image is really noisy or really bad, it can go up to it can go above 100 as well. Like for the first image, this is a perfect image, so it's not blurry, it's giving a good blood detection score as well as a good image quality score of 11. As I said, the lower it is, the better the image is for the image quality score. For the second image, the same, it's really blurry as you can see through the skin, and it has a very low blur score, hence it's really a blurry image. And the image quality isn't that good because it's a blurry image, hence it has been given a score of 81.75. And on the third image, you see that this image is not blurry, we just made it a bit noisy. Making noisy doesn't mean it's blurry, hence it's giving a result that it's not blurry, but yet it has an image quality score of 155 because mainly of the noise that we generated in the image. So this is the basic outcome of the image quality assessment using Bridge, which I have done. And yeah, so like this is the end of our presentation, and hope you liked it. Like if you have any further questions, you can directly speak up, or yeah, you can speak up, and we'll helping you out, and we'll be helping you out with the
One thing I
doubts.
want to expand upon that, can you please expand the
Yeah,
slide, yes, please?
yeah, sure.
So, like as Swarnama discussed, our purpose of building this package is making computer vision easier. Like me, Swarnama, people like us, we are very comfortable with the math, right? We can read papers, implement the architectures, but that's not true for everyone, right? But that doesn't mean that they should be limited by the use of computer vision or deep learning, at least till some level. So what Swarnaba has done here, I'll tell you what's the essence of this. Suppose you're dealing with a medical data, so the most common one that you'll see on GitHub and every newspaper, people just copy pasted nowadays. That's COVID-19 detection using X-ray images. Now, there's a large data set available now, but when I was doing my research back in February, the data set was very scarce. Like I could have hardly 100 images per class. Per class means per category, like affected, non-affected. Now, when you're training a convolutional neural network, you cannot just put in any image there, right? You have to see whether the images are properly labeled, it is of the right quality or not. But how do I say that, right? I have to have some parameter, right? I cannot sit down and go through 100 images and say, okay, let's remove this one and this one. That's possible, but that's very cumbersome and can be prone to errors. So BRISC is a non-referential image quality assessment. What do I mean here? It means I'm not giving any reference image here. It is trained on a database which already has thousands of images labeled. So according to that, I'm getting the scores for each and every image. Now, would I do with this function? I'll simply import it, run a loop through all my images in the dataset. After that, I'll calculate the mean score that I'm getting for my images. I'll calculate my highest score, and accordingly, I'll run some inference and check. Suppose for a score of say around, let's see what sort number has here, 11, right? Around 34. I'm talking about the image quality score. I'm taking all the images, and below that, I'm not taking any images. That is, this can be used for data cleaning. So at least a lot of lines of code, a lot of math, we're reducing down to just one line. So that's the main purpose of our package. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm stopped sharing the screen. Like if you have any doubts, reach us and we'll be happy to help you guys.
Yeah, if any one of you have questions, go on then.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like I want to know about like how technically you are calculating BRISC. Is it just a thresholding metric? That's one. And are you going to investigate the use of BRISC in sort of out of distribution detection? So I think if you are able to like determine the quality of the image with a good assessment, I think it would be useful to like look for maybe adversarial examples, common corruptions, and those type
Sorry,
of
can
things.
you repeat the use case once more, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. The use of BRISC for what? I couldn't hear that part properly.
So I'm curious to know if you are looking into so if BRISC is doing a good image quality assessment, I think it should work good as a detector. So detector in terms of like common corruptions, adversarial examples, and some explicit other like things which are actually trying to destroy the image quality. So
for adversarial examples, I wouldn't suggest using certain things like BRISC. Like even BRISC has its limitations, right? We do not test with each and every type of noise or distortions we can do with an image. Like if you know, have you used a GAN?
Yes, I have.
So have you tried using, what's the name of an image? Like I forgot the name. Like if you feed that in, the GAN would simply not not do any style transfer. I'll have that. I think I have it in my drive. I'll share it later with you. So for those types of image quality detection, I don't think BRISC will be a good idea. It's mostly for simpler data sets. But if you want to do it for adversarial, at least defense, then you need to go with something like DeepIQ or RankIQ. But yeah, that's on the line for our package. But we're doing one step at a time. And here we are not doing any referential image quality analysis. For adversarial attacks, you need a reference, right?
Not really. I mean, I'm not even like adversarial example is just one example. Common corruptions is much easier because you are just adding Gaussian noise, uniform noise.
Yeah, for that it's fine, but adversarial network, the adversarial attacks doesn't just include that, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying that we are not claiming that it's gonna work perfectly for those cases, but for certain systems where there is simple noises like this, yeah, that can work. But for adversarial attacks, we need to go further with RankIQ and DeepIQ.
Cool.
This is basically just for dataset analysis.
Yes, sorry if I interrupt. Just making sure it's just a thresholding value. I believe like BRISC is just a metric based on thresholding.
Yeah.
Cool. I also sent a link in the chat. So I think IBM already has a package, something called as AIX360. Like I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but AIX360 is already having a lot of explainable AI metrics. So yeah, I'm not sure what this package would be new or different from this existing package, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to include like better things or incorporate into the same. Yeah, thank you for the presentation.
When you say this is a package, like is it installable through PyPy or something like that, or is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can just do a pip install this package. I mean, you can just clone and install it directly.
And is it open source?
Yep, it's open source. The link I sent you, it has the GitHub also. So I just sent the GitHub link in the chat too. You can have a look.